Welcome back to Black Star Dove. Welcome back to my channel. As always, I do need that HBO special, which means help a brother out. Trying to do a little bit more of an ambiance feel. You know, I got the candle. You can't really see it because the mic arm's in the way, but someone mentioned the lotion. Got the lotion right there. My friend Maurice. As always, I need you to hit me up with that HBO special, which means help a brother out. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm slowly climbing up, little by little. I appreciate it. This is an important topic. Just like, well, my Tuesday's topic was important as well. Talk about Brian Flores, the lawsuit that he's doing in the NFL, and where people are wanting black athletes to do. And I wanted to talk about how, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely and improbable for that to happen. So if you don't know, Brian Flores was the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, and they Jim Harbaugh'd him. What is Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh was the former coach of the San Francisco 49ers, who, because he did not get along with the front office, even though he had winning record, they kicked him out the organization. He ended up going to the University of Michigan. This was the exact same thing that happened to Brian Flores. He was a really good coach. He had winning records, but he kept clashing with the front office. So can't clash with the people who sign your check. So they got rid of him. But seems like there could have been some collusion, especially when it comes to like the head coaching opportunities. The NFL has a rule called the Rooney Rule, which means that they have to interview a minority candidate from a different team for that head coaching position. So everyone has been talking about for years how the Rooney Rule was a sham. Like, you knew what coaches were going to accept what job long before that even happened. Perfect example, John Gruden. John Gruden coming back to, at that time, coach the Oakland Raiders, which then moved to Las Vegas. Everyone knew like 2 weeks before he announced he had a job that was going to be his job. So they just had to interview people just for protocol sake, and then they was going to give him the job. Same thing with Urban Meyer. A lot of people knew Urban Meyer wanted that Jacksonville job. And, you know, they just had to interview people underneath him, you know, like the whole protocols to give Urban Meyer the job. What happened with Brian Flores is that there was another coach named Brian Gable. It seems like he interviewed for the New York Giants job. And then what happened was Coach Bill Belichick for the New England Patriots sent a text congratulating Brian Flores when he meant to send it to Brian Gable, saying congratulations on getting the head coaching job. And Flores didn't even interview at that time for the job, but he had to go interview because he was that minority coach that they needed to interview. So that lawsuit is going through, saying that, you know, the Rooney Rule wasn't respected and it's actually racism, and he was just there for show, which is true. And I mean, but it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. Any lawyer would tell you that. But people want the people of the NFL to boycott the NFL. They want the players to stop playing. That is highly unlikely if we sit down and we think about it. Like, I wrote down some numbers, right? And this, just keep in mind, this year, NFL saw its two highest grossing numbers in years. The Thanksgiving game between the Cowboys and the Raiders had over 38 million. The NFC Championship game with the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers did over 50 million. Broke the previous record by a landslide. So people are watching the NFL. So, and then of course the Super Bowl always does numbers. The Super Bowl is going to do a lot of numbers because it's the up and start, you know, Bengals with Joe Burrow, Joe Cool versus, you know, the proven vet Matt Stafford and the Rams and Odell Beckham and all that stuff. But why can't the players walk away? This is why. So 70% of the players in NFL make under $860K. Now you have players like Dak Prescott who made $70 million this year, but over 70% of NFL players make under $860K. So you take that 860K, you think of like lawyers' fees and agent fees and all that stuff, and then you got on top of that, they have to pay taxes for every state that they play in. So every state that they play in, they have to pay a state tax. So that 860K can turn into around 400K. And then don't forget, they only get paid for 4 months out the year. So out of those 4 months, and then if they make the playoffs, they'll get some incentive bonus and everything. But their main salary comes from those 17 weeks of games. So that's what I call game checks. So you take those checks and then you have to divide them up. So someone who making 400K after taxes and all that stuff will be taking around about $33,333.33. So it's just 33333 across the board. That is amazing. So he has a budget of $33,333.33 every month for the next 12 months. Okay, you're thinking that's a lot of money, but then you got to think of now their personal expenses. What type of house? Like most people have a house, and then they have an apartment, and then they have like 1 or 2 cars because everyone has to have the cars. Got to have some type of jewelry. That's just on them. Don't let them have any kids, because then you have potential child support plus all the stuff you're paying for the kids. And then for a lot of black people, they're seen as the saviors of their families once they make it into the league. So now you got to take care of mom, you got to take care of grandma, you got to take care of your brother, aunt, uncle, everyone in the family. You're seen as the head of the family. So that $33,000 can quickly dissipate depending on how you spend it. And then they just don't have it. Like, then you have you're trying to do investments and you're you got investing in ideas. You got people stealing from you. It's a lot. That's why they say a lot of NFL players go broke, because they just don't have the money to maintain the certain lifestyle that they want to live. Now, if they want to live a more meager lifestyle, more modest lifestyle, I'm pretty sure they can maintain it. But a lot of them don't. But a lot of them don't even have no financial sense in that aspect as well, because they was never really taught how to manage their money. So you have these people who literally live check to check, because don't forget, they only get paid 4 months out the year, and those 4 months have to take care of everything else. The other 8 months, it becomes a little hectic. And the owners know this. The owners plan on it. Like they put you around the women. They introduce you to people who can get you $10,000 suits. They know a few jewelers. They know the best neighborhoods for you to live in. All this stuff costs money. And that way it makes you dependent. And once you're dependent, unless you have the strength to really break it, you're not going to really break it. So when it comes to the black players, quote unquote, walking away and stuff like that, it's really going to take sacrifice. But they're already sacrificed a lot and they don't really have nothing. So that's just something to really think about when it comes to this. Like, a lot of people can say, oh man, you make $860K a year, but they got to think about everything that you have, the fees and all that stuff and the taxes. So you're oh man, you have $400K. I could do it, man. You could retire. But then you got to think about it with the expensive and stuff like that. A lot of these cars cost a lot of money. Like, I don't want to say I had a friend that was in the NFL. I had an associate who was in the NFL. He leased out a Rolls Royce Wraith. And he literally told me he was paying like $5-6 grand a month for that Wraith. And I was just like, where did you get it from? Just like, because his credit was bad and all that stuff. And then it wasn't really a lease. It was like a lease through another company. It was like a whole lot of crazy shit. But, we look at these people to be monoliths and be uplifters, but they're already uplifting their own people. They're already uplifting their own family. So sometimes we ask too much of them. It's easy to ask the big names to go ahead and step away. They have the money to do that. But it's harder to ask the little ones to do that. I'm just saying, consider them. Other than that, I hope you learned something. Take care. I love you. Peace.